It's 2007. It's the weekend. You have no real responsibility yet, as you're not an adult. You decide to sit down at your computer that runs Windows Vista. You type in newgrounds.com and a cornucopia of Flash games appears before your eyes. That warm fuzzy feeling of happiness and discovery fills your mind as you scroll and experience countless new Flash games like Sonic Scene Creator and Super Mario Bros. Z. Sometimes you'll even visit sites like Y8, Nitrome, and Miniclips. The computer was like having another gaming console, pure bliss. But eventually, the weekend would end, and you'll be back at the mundane environment known as school. You really could use that last sentence as an analogy of sorts. As we grow older and enter adulthood, we gain responsibilities. We have dreams and ambitions to fulfill, and we have less time to engage in those hobbies that brought us joy. Some people just discard it and grow out of it. Some people even manage to make careers out of them, but you get the general point of what I'm saying. Adobe Flash was discontinued in 2021. It signified the end of an era, and while you still can play Flash games on some sites due to other solutions, the end of Flash and Flash itself is much more than just simply another software being discontinued. It embodies a whole era. It holds weight to a large number of people. Today, I want to go back in time, experience and showcase the experiences that, for me, and probably you, define that era. Bear with me, as I may not cover everything and will probably not gloss over certain things too much, as I don't want to be here all day. But let's get it. The first Flash game site I remember having memories of was sonicgames.com, the site that I was pretty much destined to find. I say that because around that time, 2007 specifically, I had recently gotten into the Sonic the Hedgehog series. After playing Sonic Rush, I needed more, so naturally I will go onto the internet and stumble upon these fan-made indie inventions called Flash games, and there were a lot of Sonic ones. Sonicgames.com in particular was a site dedicated to Sonic the Hedgehog Flash games. The first one I played was the legendary, iconic Ultimate Flash Sonic. I'll be willing to bet that 95% of people watching this video have played this game at least once. In my eyes, it's one of the quintessential Flash games. It's based off of a series of real Sonic games, the Advanced Trilogy. It even borrows its assets from the games. A common practice used in a lot of Flash games that use popular video game series as its source material. In essence, Ultimate Flash Sonic was your typical 2D Sonic game. High-speed platforming, acts, zones, springs, loops, it's all there. When playing the game for the video, the controls do have a little bit of jank to them, but it's not that bad. Plus, it's a fan-made Flash game. Let's show it some mercy. For Sonic fans, this was the prime traditional Sonic the Hedgehog experience put into a Flash game. It's probably the reason why it was so popular. Accessibility. This site also had games like Final Fantasy Sonic Episode 5 and 6, Sonic Scene Creator, and Sonic Character Designer. And like Ultimate Flash Sonic, I spent a lot of time on those. I had a lot of fun using my imagination, putting together my own scenes and stages in Sonic Scene Creator, and I killed time using Sonic Character Designer to create my own edgy hedgehog. And while sonicgames.com didn't have the earlier episodes, I still found a lot of enjoyment out of Final Fantasy Sonic, and it made me want to find the earlier parts. And I'm pretty sure an episode of Sonic RPG was on the site at one point as well. Afterwards, my curiosity would lead me to sonicandmariogames.com and Newgrounds. Let's talk about the former first. sonicandmariogames.com was a site that, as per its name, had a sizable library of Sonic and Mario Flash games. This site stood out to me not only from its awesome library of games, but from its recognizable red background. But yeah, It really had a solid collection of games. Super Mario Sunshine 64 was one of my absolute favorites. As alluded to in the game's title, it essentially is a 2D Flash fan-made version of Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine. You collect star shines by running into paintings to transport yourself to different worlds while using FLUDD. I had very fond memories of this one, as I enjoyed the source materials this Flash game was inspired from. The Mario Time Attack games were good fun as well, and I found some enjoyment out of Sonic Rebels Dash, Chaos Crush, and Sonic Rush Adventure Flash. But now we're gonna talk about that Newgrounds, man. Newgrounds was, in my opinion, and most likely for a lot of you, the pinnacle of Flash sites. The amount of Flash games, animations, and other things it offered was simply amazing. There will be times where I would spend upwards of 15 minutes trying to look for a game to play while being overwhelmed at the site's sheer volume of Flash games. Nah, fuck opinions, bro. This site was the pinnacle of Flash games. Period. Fight me, nickel. And I'm not even trying to take away from what the other sites I've talked about and not talked about yet have to offer. With Newgrounds, I was finally able to experience Final Fantasy Sonic and Sonic RPG from the very beginning, and best believe I was binging the mess out of those when I found them. Fun fact, my first experience with turn-based RPGs were with those games. Crazy, right? Final Fantasy Sonic in particular was my favorite Flash series. The story is challenging, at least when I was a kid. Gameplay, the interactive story, its cameos and references, hell, even those DBZ sound effects, they all made it hella memorable for me. It eventually inspired me to make my own Sonic stories through notebook paper comics in school. Newgrounds even had the newer, at the time, installments of Sonic Scene Creator. But of course, I discovered a whole new batch of games I haven't played before, and it was amazing. But what made Newgrounds even more special were its animations. Sonic Shorts and Nazo Unleashed stuck out to me. Classics. Need I say more? Newgrounds was by creators and for creators, and to me, that made it a complete top tier website in general, and it's still dope to this day, retaining its classic library and culture, and this library continues to grow to this day as well. YAGames.com, the classic site with this logo, and when the site looked like this, not this ugly ass shit, man. It was only a matter of time before I mentioned Super Smash Flash. This was one of the many legendary sites that had this legendary Flash game. Pretty much Smash Bros on your PC, this game was really good fun. Super Smash Flash also had Sonic, and that was a big plus for me as a huge Sonic fanboy at the time. And since we've mentioned the original Super Smash Flash, let's talk about Super Smash Flash 2. This game not only improved from the first game, but added characters like Goku, Naruto, Lloyd, Sora, and more. This made the game extremely popular and was one of the most popular Flash games ever. Almost everyone, even people who never played the real Smash Bros, played this. Y'all remember Boxhead? The game where you can mow down a bunch of zombies with the railgun, or that one bartender game. Man, I used to make the most shitty drinks, fucking trifling concoctions, man. And that one hot dog stand game was fun too. Man, mini clips used to be top tier as well back in the day. When Flash got discontinued, the site became bare bones as a motherfucker, but mini clips was once upon a time absolutely loaded. My favorites being Gravity Guy, Commando Rush, and Free Running. Free Running may have not been a Flash game, but it was on mini clips, so I'm gonna include it. Lots of fun with mini clips in general. One of my favorite sites, hands down. Nitro was cool too. Didn't discover it until my teenage years, but Nitro Must Die was a fun ass game that I used to play all the time with my cousin. Basically, you send the Nitro headquarters gunning down employees in gauntlet style floors in cooperative run and gun fashion. The overall site was and still is visually appealing as well. Sometimes at school, whether the computer lab or classroom, students will be able to access the previous sites I've mentioned along with others and play them at school. I was one of those people. One of my fondest memories was when I was in 5th grade. It was recess, but we had it inside since I believe it was winter, and winters in Cleveland, Ohio are disgusting. I remember watching Nazo Unleashed on one of the computers, and all of a sudden, people started to surround me and started to ask me what I was watching. I proceeded to tell them, and before you know it, everybody that surrounded me was hooked. We had a mini watch party going on in the back of the class, and it was awesome. But over the years, as we got older, schools would find ways to block computer game sites as a means to prevent kids from being distracted. This would upset a lot of students, not only in my schools and area, but all over. But there was one site in particular that came in clutch during those dark times. You already know what it is, man. Cool Math Games. Bro, it needs no introduction. Cool Math Games was like the reliable friend that always arrives at the right time, consistent, and its library is simply legendary. One of the best of all time, Bloons Tower Defense. If my memory is correct, it had almost all of them. The Papa games, you know, Papa's Pizzeria, Hot Doggeria, Pizzeria, Wingeria, fucking Burgeria. I mean, this shit don't stop. Block Swords, Rolling Hero 1 through 3, Run 1 through 3. Run in particular was my favorite. Looked cool as shit too. I feel like this site made it past the chopping block in a lot of schools due to it having math in the name. But nah, bro. Sure, it has some logical ass games, mathematical ass games, but don't get it twisted. This site provided the goods. The old version of the site just brings back so many memories, man. The Flash era, as I would like to call it, was filled to the brim with memories and nostalgia. Whether you're playing Final Fantasy Sonic on your computer at home on the chill Saturday morning, or you're playing Super Smash Flash 2 in the computer lab at school, Flash games always brought that sense of excitement, almost if not the same as a console game, and they were all free. Looking at how sites like Miniclips and Y8 have changed is a stark reminder that time moves forward, regardless of how we feel at the moment. And it's important we savor the present so we can create new memories. But sometimes it's nice to look back at those familiar yet distant memories. Feel free to reminisce in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, a like will be greatly appreciated and a sub will be as well. We're trying to reach that 1K soon. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves and stay safe out there.